61 years. That's how long it took to answer who killed a 12-year-old girl in upstate New York, and the sample that finally cracked it was smaller than anything visible to the human eye. This is the story of Mary Theresa Simpson, and how a genetic sample measured in nanograms became one of the oldest homicide cases ever solved through DNA. Elmira, New York, 1964. A small city on the Pennsylvania border, the kind of place where a 12-year-old walking to a relative's house alone wasn't unusual. On March 15th, Mary Theresa Simpson does exactly that. She never comes home. 4 days later, her body is found off Combs Hill Road on the outskirts of town. 1964 investigators have almost nothing modern to work with. No DNA testing exists. No national databases. Fingerprints only help if you already have a suspect in mind. They don't. The case goes cold within weeks, the way most cases without an obvious lead did in that era. Mary's case sits in storage for decades. Her family ages. Elmira changes. The technology that could eventually solve this hasn't been invented yet. DNA profiling doesn't even exist as a forensic tool until the mid-1980s. Even then, it needs a sample far larger than anything investigators recovered in 1964. By the 2000s, cold case units start pulling old evidence back out, hoping newer science can do what the original science couldn't. In 2022, the Elmira Police Department sends what trace evidence survived from 1964 to a lab called Othram. Othram specializes in forensic genetic genealogy, building a family tree from degraded, minimal DNA, then working backward to a name. What they had to work with for Mary's case, 0.4 nanograms of DNA. For scale, a nanogram is 1/1,000,000th of a gram. 0.4 of that is an amount you could never see, never weigh on a normal scale, easily destroyed by careless handling. It's one of the smallest DNA samples ever used to carry a genetic genealogy case to a conclusion. From that fragment, Othram's team builds a genealogical profile and starts mapping a family tree, the same core method used to catch the Golden State Killer years earlier. The tree eventually narrows to one name, Alfred Raymond Murray Jr. There's a complication. Murray died in 2004, 22 years before anyone connects him to Mary's murder. Investigators don't stop there. They track down a living relative to confirm the genetic link, then take the rarer step, exhuming Murray's remains to confirm the match directly. The exhumation confirms it. The DNA matches. On February 10, 2026, the Elmira Police Department stands at a press conference and says his name publicly for the first time, Alfred Raymond Murray Jr., responsible for the 1964 murder of Mary Theresa Simpson. There's no trial. There can't be. Murray's been dead for over 20 years. The case is closed, but nobody ever answers for it in a courtroom. That's not a flaw in the method. It's the shape of what happens when the science outlives the window for justice. What Mary's case leaves behind is a new marker in the field, proof that even a genetic sample too small to see can still, 6 decades later, be enough. Cold case units across the country are watching numbers like 0.4 nanograms and asking what else might be sitting solvable in their own evidence rooms. 61 years after a 12-year-old girl walked to a relative's house and never came home, an amount of DNA smaller than a speck of dust finally said who was responsible.